So yeah, part 2. I do apologize for that. Apparently this camera has a 4 GB file limit when recording in movie mode. So yeah, dual Xeons, each one is single core, but then it's hyper-threaded. 3.06 GHz, an entire whopping 1 MB of L3 cache. Don't know how much L2 or L1 cache it has though. Shaky camera is best camera. Right here, this is a RAM slot. It takes PC100 RAM. I didn't know what it was when I first put the stick in there. Yeah, PC100 RAM. This is actually the RAM stick for the RAID card. Now that I think of it, that might be the RAID controller. Don't know though. You'll see right here in this blue slot on the other side of this IDE ribbon, this is where your RAM key or your RAID key goes if you have one. I don't have one and I don't want to pay for one, because doing so would also mean that if I want to actually use RAID, I need to buy all new hard drive caddies. 5 of them. But yeah, back to the CPUs. There's your capacitors for your CPU. That's your North Bridge. Right there's your stuff for the other one. Mounting these CPU coolers is the biggest pain in the butt I've ever encountered in computing, because not only do you have to take those clips off, the one way down there and the one right down there, you also have to wrestle it in between when you have another heatsink in your way. Also, when you're attempting to do that, because I have giant-sized manly hands, it's a standard keyboard, and this is a 17-inch laptop screen. I don't have small hands, so what I ended up doing was somehow take these fans out. Those are hot swapple fans too. I realized my pinky was in the video, like right here. Hello. Right there. There's also a way, if you unplug the CPU fans. Oh, shut up. Anyway, you can wrestle this bit out. I'm gonna try and figure out how to do that. Comes out, I know it does. I took it out. Oh, that's how you do it right here. With this. Maybe that's not how you do it. I don't know. But anyway, this whole black piece comes out. Much like this one folds down, this one does come out. Somehow. I don't really know. But yeah, these are the voltage regulator modules, 1.5 volts-ish. One for each CPU, so if you're going to go dual CPU from a system that only has one, you need to buy a new heatsink and a new VRM. That's what this thing is. They insert and remove just like RAM modules do. Also, it's a... Whoa, overexposure Batman. It's running out, so if you guys can hear that, I do apologize. But anyway, back to the subject. This is the model for the heatsink. For both of them. This is apparently a revision 2 heatsink. That's a revision 1. They didn't change anything. 3 heat pipes apiece with a copper base. Anyway, this is a chassis intrusion switch. When you open up the front panel, because normally you'd have the thumb screw screwed in, it pulls out where did it go? Here it is. This button gets depressed when the front bezel is closed, and then it opens up. It controls these LEDs here, more on that later, and signals the motherboard to say, hey, somebody might have gotten into the system, and notify the system administrator, yada yada yada. Plug the CPU fan back in, there we go. So, that's your RAID card. I'll put the PC100 RAM back in, so don't forget. You're looking at nothing right now, I apologize. There we go. There we go. Your dual power supplies plug in through this ribbon. The motherboard is mounted on a thumb screw, I think, and then the whole thing just slides out to the front. I have seen a couple people do ATX conversion on this, because it is 7 stuff. But if you were to do an ATX conversion, you have to cut the whole back part off and flip it upside down. It's complicated, not worth it. What else is there? Yeah, anyway, that old story that I was telling you about dust and the first thing before my SD card crapped out. This thing only had 1 week of use on it, and there was not a speck of dust inside it at all. I mean, there was a little bit right there on the PCI bracket holders, but other than that, there was no dust on the inside at all. So I got one that escaped the sands of time. Now, I'm just gonna end it here. I'll do a follow-up video about this thing turning on and how incredibly loud it is on a later date. That theory that I also mentioned, just putting the fans back in, that theory that I mentioned on why it was retired after a week of use is there's a dead clock battery, which I've replaced with used clock batteries twice. There we go. We've used clock batteries twice, and that fixes the problem temporarily. But there's a crystal on the motherboard somewhere that vibrates at a set frequency, and that's how it keeps time. Running the Dell Diagnostic utility on the hard drive by pressing F10 when it's doing its boot up is how I figured this out. It told me that there's a 32 kilohertz. I'm just trying to get this thumb screw lined up on that screw thread because I've scratched the motherboard a couple times. I don't know how in focus this is. Whoops. Come here, you little bugger. There we go. The 32 kilohertz crystal is not vibrating at, that's how it vibrates. It goes back and forth at 32 kilohertz. I mean. And that's how the clock keeps time. Well, it's not vibrating at its set speed according to the Dell Diagnostic utility, which is really cool. It's actually on the hard drive, so don't format your hard drive. Because if you format your hard drive, you're not going to be able to get that diagnostic utility back without some serious kijiggering. But yeah. Anyway, that's wrong. That it's not vibrating at its set frequency, so it makes the orange light, which is this light right here. It makes it flash because when it's closed, there's this thing goes over those LEDs. When it depresses the intrusion switch, which basically makes these things get really bright, goes through, and then this Dell will light up blue. Well, when it doesn't vibrate at the set frequency, it doesn't keep time right. And then that causes the orange light to flash and your clock's never right. So when you boot it up, if you don't unplug it every time you power it off, it's not going to boot up and give you a blue Dell logo. So yeah, that's my theory. I don't know how accurate it is, so no, let me know. So I do apologize for this incredibly long review. Final-303 from the Linus Tech Tips forums. Thank you for watching. Rate, comment, do whatever you want. As Linus would say, if you like this video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. And if your emotions towards this video can't be expressed with either a thumbs up or a thumbs down, leave a comment. Thank you for watching. Bye.